Welcome to Mostly Superheroes, Katie Goodrich. We're so excited to have you. We're highlighting you today on our show with this being our Peacemaker episode. This past week, I bet, has been an exciting week for you, and we are excited to introduce you fans to Katie Goodrich, a designer and illustrator. She started with graphic design, but has now moved into a more user interface and user experience design. Katie, you made this great looking diagram that's on our screen right now. I saw it on your Instagram. Scotty Scoop here actually saw it and shared it into our private Facebook group before we ever knew who you were or anything. A legit share about just look at this thing. We got to get this printed and up in our homes. And then this past week, the piece you created has exploded on the internet. James Gunn himself, a St. Louis legend in his own right, big fan of Mostly Superheroes, as we all know here on the show. Yes. It's kind of an inside joke, but I still think he's a real fan. He shared your diagram out to the masses on his personal Instagram account. And I also have to highlight the choreographer that wrote the dance. That's Carissa Lee Barton, of course, that did a great job with this Peacemaker Season 1. Can we all agree, fellas, the most intense, awesome, fun theme song we've seen on a TV show in many years? Katie, I'm going to give it up for you right now. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here. I appreciate it.
Sure, absolutely. Katie, first up, I got a few questions for you. Let's open with this. What has the last week been like for you?
It's been wild. I had actually a friend was like, hey, James Gunn just shared like some artist's work. You should tag him. And I was like, yeah, right. Why? Like he won't, but he did. I tagged him in a comment. Previously, the choreographer, Carissa, had reached out and thanked me, which blew my mind. I was astounded by that, said thank you, how much it meant to me. She responded. Again, didn't expect that. And then one morning I woke up and I saw on my feed that like, James Gunn liked your stuff. And I was just like, well, I don't need to accomplish anything else today. My day is complete. I guess I should get up and do stuff, but I didn't. Like I was done. The whole week was successful.
Kick your feet up. Time to relax. James Gunn just shared my work. I'm feeling pretty. I'm feeling pretty solid. We have had. Don't want to brag. He's actually pinned a comment of ours on a post before, and that was you. I called my parents. You know, like it was a big day over here at the house. So I understand where you're coming from. So I have to assume, Katie, that you're a fan of the show Peacemaker, right? You've seen this. Yes. You've seen season 1. I wanted to ask, this has got to be one of my first questions, is did you create the diagram after you learned the dance yourself and then you put pen to paper, or did you kind of use your own work the way that we all are? You did the diagram first and then now I can teach myself the dance. Which order, was it chicken or the egg?
Honestly, if you asked me to do the dance now, I would not do it correctly. I just start cracking up after this move. I think it was episode 2 or 3 of Peacemaker, just watching the intro, pausing it, rewinding it, watching it again, and laughing so hard. And I was like, it'd be funny if there was like an IKEA catalog of how to do this.
Yes.
And so, okay. Yeah, I was drawing like the little IKEA guy, and I was like, no, he should look more like Peacemaker. And that's really where it started. And then just a lot of me giggling and pausing the intro and sketching out what it could look like. And it's still, the song and the dance is not old to me. Like, I don't know how many times I've seen it, but it is still not old. I crack up still.
It comes on and you don't want it to stop. It came on. Mm-hmm. We had a St. Louis Mardi Gras this past weekend. A person at a party threw on the song, and no one, I wish I would have had your diagram up on the wall for everyone, because everyone thought they kind of knew it. It turns out none of us knew it. So Nobody. We need the help, and it's such a fun dance. I totally agree. So Katie, I've looked at your website and I see, like, obviously you make fun dance instructional pieces like this, but you have all sorts of work in your portfolio. I had to ask, what type of work do you enjoy doing most? And are you currently working on something that has got you excited?
Yes. So my day job is very like the user experience, user interface. I love that as like a structured day job. So when I do my own like fun work, it's really what brings me joy. And I get very inspired by what other artists are doing out there. There's so much amazing artwork out there. And I enjoy playing around with different techniques. Like one week I'll be very much into like pen and paper. The next I'll try digital. Haven't jumped into painting yet. I don't trust myself there yet, but maybe one day. Right now I'm starting to look at another like silly fan art compilation. I've done a few before. Like you can see on my Instagram post that you guys have pulled up. I'm wearing a BMO-y t-shirt. It's BMO from Adventure Time and Bowie. So I love just combining stuff like that. If it makes me laugh in my head, I want to share it with other people.
One of my favorite pieces you had up on your site was a different variations. Actually, my fiance Carrie brought this up to me. She's a huge fan of yours, by the way, a mutual designer that just has mad respect for your skills. And Jabba the Hutt. But it was variations on the word hut in terms of a rhyme, it seemed like, and you had made all of these different versions of Jabba the Hutt. I know one was like Tut, where it was like an Egyptian look of Jabba the Hutt. Then there was Butt that had some butt cheeks on the back, and there were just so many fun ones just like that. I mean, this is stuff that we need to have in our studio over here.
Thanks. Jabba the Butt was the most popular, which surprised me. Jabba the Donut, I think, is my favorite of the group because he's so colorful. And I really like Jabba the What, but yes.
Yeah, that one's good. The what?
The jokes.
The what, where it's like, what is it? He was like purpley and spots and looked really cool. All right, well, this again is our Peacemaker episode. So whenever we talk about one thing, it's the feature. We call it the meat on the episode. I had to ask you about the show itself. As we get ready to talk about season 1, how did you feel about the series? Did you like it? Did you love it? Were you in between? And what did you like most about it?
This show, I can't wait to rewatch it. Like, I enjoy rewatching things. Like, I'm that kind of person, but I'm trying to give myself time so I don't run out of it again. If that makes sense? Like, I know there's only so many episodes and I want to watch them again and have that joy again. I came in not knowing a whole lot about Peacemaker besides the Suicide Squad movie. I loved it. I think John Cena was the perfect choice. I loved all the characters. The actors are great. It looks like they had a lot of chemistry. Just being able to see like what DC is doing, how they're exploring different options. Like, is it more serious? Are we having more fun with it? Are we loosening the reins? I can't wait for season 2. I don't know how they're going to do it after seeing season 1. And I love the journey they had. Like, I had no idea where it was going. Sorry, my cat just jumped up on me. I tried to like guess what was going to happen because when you get it right, like, it feels so good. I couldn't guess anything. I'm super excited for whatever they have next for us.
Very cool. I think, I don't like to make any assumptions, but after seeing this piece, I had to assume you were a fan. We are too. James Gunn is just making us so proud out here, and not just DC, but also in the MCU and everything he's done over the years. Can't wait to see season 2 come around. Well, outside of Peacemaker, I'd love to hear that you reference the DC Comics, so you're a bit of a nerd, and you'd fit right in with us. We might have you back on the pod at some point. What's something else that you're watching out there, TV, movie-wise? We even highlight books on the show. Whatever's got you jazzed lately, what are you into?
Oh, yes. Right now, well, I'm really excited to see the new Batman movie. Hoping to go see that next week.
Nice.
It's kind of hard to get to theaters right now. Like, I'm just still a little nervous to go back out with COVID. So trying to look at when there's not going to be anyone there and go to an early showing.
Yep.
But like TV watching, apparently I'm on an animation kick. I'm watching like Bob's Burgers, Attack on Titan, My Hero Academia. I can't wait for that to come back.
That's Scotty. Scotty loves My Hero Academia.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Oh, can you choose a favorite character? I find it very difficult.
I would probably go Todoroki.
Yes.
Yes.
The right answer.
Yeah. I love Froppy. Like, I love Sue. I can't get over Sue. But then it's like, you think of all the other characters like Mr. Iwasawa, and you're like, oh, okay.
Oh,
I just
yeah,
want,
for sure.
I'll have a daily favorite, not like a overall favorite.
You just made Scotty Scoop's day. We do a segment called What You Watching, and like that was one of the first titles he brought on the show. Well, who'd you tell me about? A dishwasher kid.
Yeah, I was going to ask
the washing machine kid.
The washing hero, the laundry hero.
Oh, I would be really sad if that was my power.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that was. But he knew exactly what to tell me to get me interested. So
Oh,
it's still
yeah.
maybe on the list one day. Okay,
Oh,
well,
it's great. It's so good.
well, before we let you go, I was gonna absolutely want to hear where people can find you online, give you some shout outs. Giggler, did you have any questions for Katie?
I just want to say thank you for this diagram because I am a terrible dancer to where I can only dance to like the songs where it basically has the directions in the lyrics. So this is very helpful. When, my
Yeah.
first thought seeing this, I was like, I have to learn this dance.
You talking about like the cha cha?
Yeah, like I just all of them.
Like
The
the
ones that are
electric
at
slide?
every wedding ever.
The one where they tell you what to do?
Yeah, and I'm gonna be a fan of your work too. I already followed her on Instagram while we were interviewing because I couldn't wait to hear of it. See Jabba the Hutt. So
Nice.
thank you for that as well.
Thank you. I need to do the rest of the dance. This is just the verse 1. It took a while, so I need to get into the rest of the video.
Yeah, I see people online telling you like, "Where's the rest of the song?" Oh my gosh,
we need all the directions.
people just can't be satisfied. I think you've done enough. If you want to stop right now, you can. I know that because I have to tell Carrie that all the time. If you want to stop right now, stop right now. Scotty Scoop, anything for Katie?
Yeah, actually, I got a shout out to that Dalek poster in the background.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite doctor?
Oh, no.
Oh, you don't. I don't think you're supposed to ask that.
No, it's a really great question. I can't. It's another thing where I cannot choose. Like,
Yeah, it doesn't want to offend anybody.
What about a top 3?
Top 3. I wish Eccleston had stayed longer. I think he did a great job, but calling it when he did, that's fair. And then I think Tennant and Matt Smith have to tie.
All correct answers.
Yeah.
Katie, you're fitting in way too well over here. I don't hope. How do you feel about podcasts? Would you ever come on a podcast for more long form talk?
I sure would. My one of the bedrooms in our house is set up for a podcast. My husband, that's his entertainment for himself. He runs a podcast as well.
Oh, so you got one of these problems too in your house going on.
Yes, but he's never asked me to be on his. So
Oh man, he's got to get on that. No,
I know.
Well,
no, I'm giving him a hard time. I couldn't keep up. It's a Dungeons and Dragons, and I would just be lost. Like I love Dungeons and Dragons, but I can't keep up with it.
Yep.
Like I can't
so
do in the characters because my attention span's too short. I have to just listen and enjoy.
I've been on my current Dungeons and Dragons campaign for 3 years.
That means you're like in the meat of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
The meat.
The meat.
What's the podcast?
Bombarded. It's a musical D&D podcast.
Oh my god.
Which is why I will not be on it.
A musical D&D podcast.
Yeah.
I have
they write a new
100%
song
listened to
episode.
that podcast before.
You've heard it?
Yes.
You've heard the
have?
podcast?
That's awesome.
Yes.
Hey,
That is
Wow.
so great.
you got a real fan over here.
What a Nice. world
That's
we live in.
awesome.
All right, Katie, that's a great segue. I know you're on Instagram. I was going to ask you how to say this correctly. I was saying Cadusaurus.
That works. We pronounce it Catosaurus.
Because like Katie, obviously.
Yeah.
But besides Cadusaurus, that's Kadusaurus for our listeners. Where else can people find you online or otherwise?
Use that handle for both Twitter and Instagram. And then I have a website, which is my first and last name. So katiegoodrich.com.
Fantastic. Guys, check out Katie, whether it's on her social, at her website. I promise you her work will not let you down. And of course, if James Gunn agrees, we agree. And Katie, we can't thank you enough for spending time with us over here on Mostly Superheroes. We're only in our 3rd season, just kicking off, and to have somebody like you that does great work and we could highlight you in a fun way, we just really appreciate your time, and we'd love to have you back on the podcast one day.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. And shout out to your fiance's website.
Oh.
Very cool.
Oh, yes, CarrieClarkDesign.com. She's out there, and yeah, she's been on her own for about 7 months and is loving it. And websites for designers, she's got an eye for this right now because she's been out there looking around to see what's out there. And yours definitely wowed her. I saw her on it earlier today. Like she was just like scrolling through, and I was like, "Are you still looking at Katie's profile?" She's like, "Yeah, she's got some really fun stuff in here."
That's high praise.
There you go. Well, Katie, thank you so much. We have each other's info. We'll be in touch. And I'll reach out to you. And other than that, be sure to listen to yourself in this episode, and we'll get you back on here sometime.
Awesome. If you guys want to send me your P.O. box or anything, I can send some stickers, maybe some Jabba the Butts.
Okay, so
Whoa.
Katie, stay on. Actually, don't go anywhere. Listener, big thanks to Katie Goodrich, Peacemaker Diagram. Go learn that dance and go find her on Instagram. Katie, we'll see you next time.